What's going on, yo? Welcome to Druskii Hot Takes. If it's your first time here, welcome. Some of you may notice that I'm in a different setting. I promised myself I'll be more consistent with the content, so I am filming this on my lunch break. My goal is to pump out at least 2 to 3 videos a day. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
Travelers across the country are facing the impact of the partial government shutdown as lengthy security lines at airports across the country cause travel chaos.
It was 3 hours and 45 minutes. So missed our flights. We're stuck trying to figure out what are we going to do now, try to get another flight. Our luggage is there, but we're not.
And TSA security officers are sleeping in their cars now, afraid to call in sick and often relying on food donations as they're forced to work without pay. John Hubert is a TSA security officer at Miami International and the local union president and a father of 2 young boys. And he's doing everything he can to help his TSA colleagues by organizing food donation drives. And John Hubert joins me now for more on this. John, I appreciate your time here.
Before we get into what he has to say, let me just say I am extremely angered by the situation. There's no way in hell that anybody that's doing the job anywhere in America or even another country should be working for free. If you know someone that works for TSA and you have an abundance of finances or you're comfortable or you have extra food or resources, I want to encourage you to reach out to them and bless them. This is insane. You have people that are dedicated to their jobs and they are in the middle of a working layoff. You hear that, y'all? A working layoff. That's crazy. And there's no reason that a budget should not be passed to pay these individuals. What really bothers me about the situation is that the politicians that run our country are fighting over nonsense. And while they're fighting over nonsense, we have people like this young man on the screen suffering. This is how people's credit gets messed up. This is how people's lives are turned upside down. Unfortunately, if you do not have an abundance of money, you use credit as a leverage to make up the difference in your income. This is a fact. The whole purpose of having good credit, especially if you don't have an abundance of money, is so that if you have to finance something or if you apply for a loan or anything that you don't want to pay for up front, you get a better rate because your credit score simply says, hey, this individual is trustworthy to borrow money and pay it back. So you have a whole bunch of people here who did the responsible thing, who came to work, who paid their bills on time, and now they're being forced to be in a delinquent status based over politics. This is insane. This is insane. And it breaks my heart to see this. Yo, I'm supposed to travel to Hawaii in about 3 to 4 weeks. And I pray, not just for me, but for everybody that is traveling from now or even the rest of the year, that a budget is passed so everyone's life is easier. Do you understand that they are asking these people to do a tedious job, a highly detail-oriented job for no money? How would you like if you were a Secret Service agent and you were tasked with protecting the president or any assigned party of the White House? You had to travel, be away from your family, and do all the requirements that were asked of you for free. You're literally asking these people to do a dangerous job for free. If you listen to the video, you say, why is this job dangerous? This job is dangerous because they are tasked to observe and find items or any threats that would put the safety of those who are traveling in jeopardy. So if they are doing their jobs and they're not being paid, where's the motivation coming from? Y'all let me know down in the comments. Where's the motivation? Where would you find the motivation if you were working for this corporation or any corporation and you were asked to do a dangerous or tedious job that required great detail and were expected to perform the same way if you were getting paid, but you were working for free? I feel that it is comical to even ask these people to show up for work. And as you see from the title of this video, they're starting to get fed up. This shutdown has surpassed the one that happened 3 months ago. And guess what? If I have been working for free for almost 40 days now, I'm committed. I got to stay till I get my money. But guess what? I am devising a plan to get out. I am devising a plan to get out. Because there's no way I could go to work without any form of anxiety that my family's well-being and future would not be in jeopardy over politics. But let's see what else he has to say.
And look, I mean, I know You're a father yourself. You've got a 6 and an 8-year-old, Zion and Zane. How is a shutdown
And I like those names, Zion and Zane. ZZ.
impacted you?
Dramatically. Obviously, we have to think about aftercare and being able to pay the daycare and all this kind of stuff for our children. And it's really difficult to be able to juggle that at the same time having to go back to work and take care of the traveling public. This is a bad situation for the TSA workforce.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, we know that a lot of TSA workers got their first zeroed out paycheck this past week. You got spring break, which is coming up, and also April 1st right around the corner. I mean, so
hold on, man. That just sounds crazy. First zeroed out paycheck? You doing all the right things, coming to work on time, performing your job as if you were getting paid, and you receive a paycheck with a zero balance? I'm surprised they haven't come together and started moving furniture in them airports. Do you know why this is so bad? What if they went on strike and all the TSA officers just said, hey, you know what? We not coming in. Until y'all reach a budget, ain't nobody coming to work. What if they get to a point they say, you know what, the hell with quitting? We just all gonna strike. We gonna strike. We don't care nothing about your spring break. We don't care nothing about your funerals you got to get to. We don't care about none of that. Until we get our money, we not coming to work. And I'm telling you, you can make even the most sane person step into another lane when you start messing with their money. And I'm going to say this again. It is very disingenuous by our politicians that control the budgets and the laws that move this country to allow these people to work for free. It's disingenuous.
So what are you hearing from your colleagues that are worried about paying rent?
Well, you know, a lot of the officers right now, they're extremely stressed out. They're calling me, asking me for assistance, as much help as the union can do for them. But still, we can only do but so much. You know, Congress needs to hurry up and get us paid.
Yeah. Well, and so talk to us about why and how you started this food drive to help your colleagues.
The craziest thing is that if they continue to work for TSA, even after a budget is passed, they will literally have to begin living their lives as if they were independent contractors. What do I mean by that? When you are an independent contractor, you basically have to live your life as if you're unemployed. So if you're a DJ, dancer, musician, any person where your work and your pay is tied per gig or per client, you have to live as if you don't have money. You have to constantly put money away. You're not allowed to splurge. You know what I'm saying? You always have to move with intention that you need a cushion. The reason why these TSA workers are going to have to do that, because you never know when the government's going to shut down again and put your family and your livelihood in jeopardy. And it's sad that you have a steady job that requires you to be there at a certain time every day, every week for a certain amount of hours, and you are working for free. Not only are you working for free, when you are getting paid, you are afraid that there's going to be another shutdown because of politics that have nothing to do with you. The reason the budget is being held up right now has nothing to do with the safety of this country. It's simply because they are mad at how ICE is handling deporting people out of this country. Now, the craziest thing is I do not get into politics on this channel. Howsoever, you have politicians that are asking this country to do things that other countries would not do. If the same illegal migrants that are here were in other countries, they will be deported. And so, you know, when people stand strong on the right or the left, I like to challenge people to go test their own theories. So if you strongly believe that you are doing the right thing, the thing that you are asking all the American citizens to accept, go try it in another country. Go try to stay in another country without the proper paperwork, visas, without checking in. Just go to another country and try it and see what happens. Countries move by the finances of the citizens. So guess what? If you are a citizen or even a visitor or even a temporary resident, you have to pay your way into the economy to keep the country moving. And you know what? I had a very interesting argument with someone, and they said you should leave them here because they pay for taxes. And my response was, and let's be clear, I understand why people have to leave situations because I have traveled to some of these countries and they're very impoverished and unsafe, and you know, it's just not a good place to be. Howsoever, here in California, we are taxed up the hoo-ha. But you have people who are not registered to be here, who are making money under the table, and they're not paying their fair share like the rest of us. That is my only issue with the situation, me personally. I don't care who is here, but if I have to pay high taxes or find ways every year to lower how much I contribute to the government out of the money I work for, then you got to pay your fair share too. Listen, I don't care whether you got 2 legs, 1 leg. I don't care if you got 8 kids. I don't care about none of that. If you're going to be in this country, as far as I'm concerned, because again, I don't care who's here, but if you're going to be here in this country like me, everybody got to pay their fair share through taxes. You got to pay your fair share. And listen, if you pay your taxes just like me, that's fine. Listen, we equal. But if you running up a bag, you are not a registered citizen, you're not paying taxes, that's when I have a problem. And so to bring it back on topic, this is the reason why we have a shutdown, because one side versus the other side over how ICE or the Homeland Security is operating the deportation process. And so until they can get an agreement, you have these innocent young men and women that will not be receiving paychecks. And it's over 40 days, y'all. 40 days.
Well, basically, I felt that as a union president, I need to be able to assist the workforce immediately. What we've been doing so far is hitting every single airport by providing food, lunch, anything that we could possibly, gift cards, gas cards, things like that. Just to ease the pressure a little bit, because coming to work every day is a decision now. It's not like how it was before. A lot of things that are happening right now, we don't have to deal with on a regular basis. Now we have to make concessions. Fill our gas tank up, don't pay this bill, So the gas bill, all of the things are starting to compile at this point, so it's almost a breaking point.
Let me add something in here real quick. I had bad credit for a very long time, and it took a lot of work for me to get good credit and to be able to get credit cards that weren't just Credit One or, these really low budget hood credit cards, right? The fact that these people's credit is being tarnished over the government is insane to me. Let's be very clear. It is not easy to rebuild your credit. Listen, once certain things are on your credit report, it takes a long time. It takes a long, long time to get it off. Man, I'm sending prayers up for y'all. This is crazy. We cannot look down upon them because our situation may be better or greater than theirs. Listen, there are a lot of people that take pride in maintaining their credit, and because that ties into how they take care of their family. Because again, when you have good credit, when you finance things or you need to borrow money, you get it at a lower rate because your credit report or your credit score simply says you are a trustworthy borrower and you will pay back the money. But because of this government shutdown, a lot of people's credit is about to be jacked up over something they didn't have to do it. Not because they weren't responsible, but simply because they are not being paid by the federal government.
Yeah, well, and listen, there was a shutdown last year, that record 43-day long one. But I'm curious, how is this go around different than the first shutdown?
Well, the creditors are not as forgiving because
What'd I just say? Credit companies are savages. They can care less about what you got going on. All they want is their money, because guess what? Y'all got a contract. And as long as y'all have a contract, your situation ain't got nothing to do with paying back their money.
we had like a letter that the agency would supply to us to be able to submit to them to let them know that we're in a furlough and we're not being paid. But the creditors are not even paying attention to those notices anymore. So the eviction notices are coming out. People's cars are being repoed. These things are not, I guess it's because it's a partial shutdown.
Okay, now, if your car is being repoed, then you was already behind. Unless you borrow from a subprime lender, they normally give you about 2 to 3 months, and I've seen people even go up to 5 to 6 months and still be able to keep their car before it's repossessed. So if your car is being repossessed after 30 days, you are already behind.
And not every single agency is affected.
And we're going to be transparent, and I know about that because I've been repoed before. So I know the whole process.
It's only a short fuse, so not a lot of people know about it, which ironically enough, we've been trying to get the word out there as much as possible that the TSA is not getting paid. A lot of people in America don't know that the officers are operating with no pay,
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious, I mean, what is your biggest fear at this point?
My biggest fear is putting these officers in a tough situation while we have to concentrate on the job of security and securing the national skies. Because really, TSA has been successful in preventing any terrorist act on the airplane, in the airport, anywhere.
What do we say earlier in the video? Very tedious job. Very, very tedious job.
And we've been 100% successful in doing that. But we cannot be distracted by all of these things, not being able to pay our bills. It's hard to sleep sometimes because you think about, man, I got to pay this bill. I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay it. Maybe I could depend on family. Maybe I could depend on some friends, but it's not going to last forever. The stress points are like being broken every single day. You have to make a choice every day when you have to come into work.
Yeah, and certainly it's even compounded by the fact of going to work and knowing that you're not necessarily going to receive a paycheck. John Hubert, I appreciate your time.
Prayers up to all the TSA workers. This is very disingenuous on the Republicans and Democrats who cannot come together to pass a budget so that these kind, and dedicated TSA workers get paid. No one should be subjected to their credit being tarnished, should be subjected to coming to work for free. And you're literally causing people to have mental stress, have anxiety, depression, because you put them in a situation that makes them look irresponsible, but they're not. They're just simply not being paid. So if you're out there and you listen to this video and you know someone that works for TSA and you have additional resources, please reach out to them, pray for them, bless them, cook them a meal, slide them a couple of dollars. If you don't want to just give them money directly, pay a bill. You know what I'm saying? This is the time for the church to step up and be a blessing to those around us, because this is definitely a situation that they didn't ask for. This is definitely a situation that they did not ask for. So continue prayers up for the TSA workers. I pray that our government comes together to pass a budget so that they can receive all the back pay and catch up and try to save their credit before it gets any worse. If you made it to the end of this video, hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to my 8 subscribers. But even if you're watching for free, just hit that subscribe button. Just hit that subscribe button for your boy. Hit that subscribe button. But I'm out of here. And remember, like I always say, I love you. God loves you. And again, continue to pray and encourage the TSA workers. I'm out.